Everyone talked about Lee Min-ho that night. His speech, his posture, his subtle smiles, his carefully chosen words during the awards ceremony. But what people didn't talk about, what they didn't see, was the moment that changed everything. A look, one look. A single, quiet glance from Kim Go-yoon that revealed more truth than any interview, any rumor, or any statement ever could. It happened backstage, long before the cameras rolled, long before the audience filled the seats, long before Lee Min-ho walked onto the stage and delivered a speech that would make headlines for days. But the real story, the one no one recorded, the one no one was meant to see, started in a dimly lit dressing room hallway the moment their eyes met again after nearly a year apart. Kim Go-yoon had arrived early. She wasn't scheduled to appear yet, and she liked it that way. The hallways were quiet, the staff relaxed, the air calm. She could breathe without feeling watched. She could move without calculating every gesture. Her manager handed her the evening's rundown and reminded her of her call time, but her mind drifted. She wasn't nervous. She had done countless events like this, but tonight felt heavier somehow. She told herself it was just work. Just another ceremony, just another night. But deep down, she knew it was just anything, because he would be there. Lee Min-ho, the man she hadn't spoken to since their last unexpected meeting at a private industry dinner. The meeting where both of them spoke too politely, smiled too professionally, and pretended too hard that they had completely moved on. The meeting where she felt something shift inside her, something she ignored. She took a slow breath and fixed her makeup in the mirror. But nothing, not the hairstylist, not the jewelry assistant, not even her own rehearsed calm, could prepare her for what happened next. A knock on the door, her staff thought nothing of it. Probably a coordinator, someone said, but it was. The door opened and he stepped in, Lee Min-ho, tall, composed, quiet. Wearing a fitted suit that looked almost unfairly perfect under the bright backstage lights. The room froze, even the air seemed to still. He wasn't supposed to come in. Not yet. Not here. Her stylist bowed. Her manager straightened. Every staff member suddenly became stiff with nervous politeness, but Go-yoon didn't move. Not until Min-ho spoke softly, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt." His voice was calm, respectful, a little hesitant. Her heart was. She managed a small bow. "It's fine." He nodded but didn't leave. He just stood there for a moment, and then, so quietly no one else in the room noticed, he looked at her. Not a casual look, not a professional look. Not an accidental glance. A look filled with something he had no words for. A look filled with something he hoped she could read. And she did. Her breath caught the second their eyes met. Something inside her shifted. A small, undeniable tremor of recognition, like someone reopening a book she had once tried very hard to close. That was the look. The look no one else saw. The look that exposed everything. The stylist asked if he needed anything. A coordinator told him the stage director wanted to confirm his timing. But Min-ho didn't budge. He kept his eyes on her, not intensely, not dramatically, but with a quiet softness that only someone who once knew him closely would recognize. He was searching her face, not for beauty, not for validation, but for truth. Truth he had been afraid to ask for. Truth she had never given him. She realized it in an instant, and it hit her like a wave. He still cared. Not outwardly, not publicly, not in a way that would ever betray professional boundaries. But behind his polite expression, behind his carefully neutral smile, behind his controlled tone, his eyes showed what his words never dared to. Before she could stop herself, she looked back at him, not intentionally, not bravely, but instinctively. Her heart responded before her body did. The sadness, the memories, the unresolved warmth, the unspoken apologies, and the longing she thought she had buried, all surfaced in a single, unguarded moment. Her lips parted just slightly, her shoulders softened, and her eyes, quiet, careful, always controlled, revealed the one thing she never wanted him to see. She still cared too. That was the moment, the one he caught. The one he understood immediately, as if her heart had spoken out loud. She broke eye contact first. She turned toward the mirror, but her reflection betrayed her, her cheeks slightly flushed, her expression too fragile, too open. Her stylist whispered, "Go-yoon SSI, are you okay?" She nodded. "Yes, I just need a moment." Min-ho cleared his throat gently. "I'll leave you to prepare." sorry for interrupting. But when he turned to leave, something in her reached toward him, not physically, not intentionally, but emotionally. Her eyes lifted again, just briefly, just enough, and he caught it. Her eyes told him everything. I wasn't expecting you. I wasn't ready for this. I'm trying to keep my distance. But it's still you. It's always been you. He blinked, stunned for only a fraction of a second. She saw it, the understanding, the ache, the relief. He bowed politely to her staff and stepped out into the hallway, closing the door behind him. But the moment the door shut, she exhaled sharply, only then realizing she had been holding her breath the entire time. Later that night, when Min Ho took the stage, he delivered one of his calmest, smoothest speeches ever. Everyone praised his composure, his elegance, his professionalism. But only one person noticed the brief tremor in his voice when he glanced sideways into the wings, just for half a second, toward the place where she stood watching. Only she knew why his voice faltered. Only she knew what that look meant. Because she had given him the truth before he ever had a chance to speak. After the ceremony, backstage buzzed with noise. Photographers chased celebrities, managers shouted instructions, stylists scrambled with garment bags. Go Yoon stayed near a quiet corner, speaking softly with her team. She didn't see him approach at first, but she felt it, the subtle shift in the air, the quietness that followed him, the sudden stillness of her own heartbeat. When she turned, he was already standing there, careful distance, polite smile, but eyes still speaking the language they shared only in silence. He bowed lightly. Good work today, she returned the gesture. You too. A pause, a heavy one. One her manager pretended not to hear and her staff respectfully ignored. Then he spoke again, voice quieter this time. About earlier, she stiffened slightly. You don't need to explain. He took a breath. I wasn't going to explain. That surprised her. His voice lowered even further. I was going to ask if you're okay. Her chest tightened. She wanted to answer. She wanted to open her mouth and say something honest, something true, something her heart had been wanting to say for months. But all she could manage was a soft, I'm fine. He studied her, gently, carefully, silently, before stepping just a little closer. Close enough to speak without anyone overhearing. Go Yuna, he said softly. You looked at me like, he stopped himself. She waited, he swallowed. Like something changed. Her breath hitched because something had changed. The moment their eyes met, something shifted, something fragile, something familiar, something that wasn't supposed to revive but did anyway. She lowered her gaze. Min Ho SSI? He shook his head slightly. You don't have to say anything now. Just tell me one thing. She met his eyes again, helpless against the pull. Did I see it wrong? He asked. Her heart cracked